Different crime syndicates over the years have developed their unique strategies and operations, as well as a rap sheet of crimes. But one thing stays the same. There is always the big bad boss, the capo. They exert fear and dominance by instilling an enduring cycle of loyalty. From the infamous Colombian kingpin Pablo Escobar to the Mexican top dog Joaquin Guzman Loera, also known as El Chapo, the iconic stories of these drug lords precede them. And one kingpin with a story that is sure to leave you gaping is the Albanian boss Dritan Rexhepi. Who is the man that ruled the UK's underground drug scene? How did his empire fall apart? Here is everything you need to know about Dritan Rexhepi. Before the rise of the infamous Albanian capo, Dritan Rexhepi, commonly known by members of the organized crime world as Gramos Rexhepaj, is a 40-year-old drug lord who was born in Albania in the city of Vlora, a small country in southeastern Europe. He was enrolled in 2005 at the University of Tirana, the capital of Albania, where he was studying law before abruptly returning to a lifestyle of being a criminal, mastering the specialty of moving narcotics across borders. It has been reported that Dritan speaks 5 languages fluently, which is rather unsurprising considering the international scope of missions that his crime syndicate orchestrates. With so little record of his background, Dritan's story continues to reflect missing pieces as regards his rise in the industry. But his life story certainly leaves one wondering how someone in the process of learning the reins of the law can end up contradicting said laws. And this has certainly contributed to his now fearsome status as one of Interpol's targets. Transition into crime syndicate boss as the undisputed capo. Dritan's rise in the crime world dates back to the 1990s, when he was suspected to have begun taking on contract killing. In 2006, while he was a student, Dritan was arrested in the reception area of the Hotel Tirana, in possession of illegal weapons and accompanied by his friend, Nadjan Zenali. In 2008, he was caught in the Netherlands and extradited to Italy. According to Dritan, his legendary drug trafficking life sprang out as a result of a crossroad where he claimed to pick the better choice. In his words, "I had 2 options: to surrender to an unjust and rotten system in Albania, which would lead to a life imprisonment, or to seek a second chance to do something else with my life." Dritan claims to have been forced into the drug trafficking lifestyle after his murder charge and first prison escape. In 1998, he was alleged to have carried out the highly broadcasted murder of 2 police officers, Arbin Kuci and Durum Kasimi, in Fush Kruja, Albania, for which he was sentenced in absentia in 2013 by a Tirana court to 25 years in prison. In the same year, Dritan appeared as part of the 17 criminals on Scotland Yard and Crime Stoppers' most wanted list. The strategy of the Compagnia Bello. Dritan Rexhepi, the Albanian Kingpin, created and expanded the Compagnia Bello syndicate, his legend. Rather than focus on one part of the drug trafficking chain, Dritan had facets for everything from manufacturing to retail supply. He commanded a wide chain of the Compagnia Bello drug trafficking line and amassed millions of dollars in this scandalous vocation. Compagnia Bello has allegedly operated in about 4 countries, including the Netherlands. It is headed by Dritan and is an alliance of 14 Albanian crime organizations, primarily focused on drug trafficking. Unlike other cartels, Compagnia Bello stands out for its mode of operations, in that it engages the distribution of drugs at all levels, by exercising extensive international domination and thereby elevating proceeds. Compagnia Bello has evolved and grown successfully as a result of its relations with the high-flying South American cocaine manufacturers. This has facilitated the importation and circulation of drugs in jumbo and small sizes from the manufacturers to the Belgian ports. The Compagnia Bello syndicate also controls the selling process on the European streets. They are famous for their all-around drug trafficking specialties. Dritan's exponential triumphs in the industry also rested on his association with the Ecuadorian drug boss, Cesar Emilio Montenegro Castillo. Information obtained from court records shows that Dritan was not just an asset to Cesar in terms of illegal drug distribution, but also for the fact that he was able to contend with the Chinese criminal syndicates by creating a superior alternative to transfer the illicit drug funds. The Chinese criminal organizations were the mainly used source of transfers back then, as their methods required no physical movement of funds. But on the flip side, they were known for charging enormous transfer commissions. That Dritan was able to surpass this and get the illegal drug funds transferred by eliminating the use of intermediaries, which were the Chinese, impressed Cesar and increased his trust in Dritan. And he was one of the many influential connections in the Albanian Kingpin's phone book. The prison break records. While Dritan has had many criminal engagements, he is also known as the undisputed capo, with a reputation for numerous prison escapes. In fact, his legendary prison break reputation boasts more escapes than the Mexican drug lord popularly known as El Chapo. His first escape was in 2006 at the Durrës police station, Albania, after the prosecutor, Anton Martini, and a police officer had just finished questioning Dritan and an assumed suspect, Nadjan Zanelli, about the death of the two police officers in 1998. The escape took place barely minutes after they left for a break in questioning. Dritan found that the holding cell door had been left ajar, so he took advantage of that, turned his sweater inside out, grabbed a file, and stepped out as though nothing had happened. As a smart criminal who knew his best bet was to avoid any form of suspicion, he told the policeman he saw on his way out, "They're finished with me." The guard, unsuspecting, let him out the door. And this was the genesis of a bizarre prison breakout record. 2 years after his walkout escape, the Kingpin was arrested in the Netherlands before extradition to Italy, where he was sentenced for cocaine trafficking. In 2011, he and 2 other inmates escaped by cutting the prison bars with a saw and crawling to the ground with bedsheets tied into a makeshift rope. Later that year, he was picked up in Spain and extradited to Belgium, but he escaped yet again. In 2014, Dritan was detained in Quito, the capital city in Ecuador, and sentenced to a 13-year term in prison on the charge of drug trafficking. He has since been convicted of organizing several scandals like armed robbery and cocaine trafficking in Italy and Belgium. He is currently serving a 13-year sentence in the maximum security Quito prison for trafficking 278 kilograms of cocaine, but is still said to have successfully led the Campagna Bello drug cartel while convicted and being held within the walls of the prison. The Pranga kidnapping and suspected murder. Dritan has engaged in numerous criminal activities, some of which are recorded, some not. Among some of Dritan's well-known engagements is the collaboration with Cesar and his men to transport tons of drugs from Guayaquil port in Antwerp. The drugs were fixed into the base of each container and hidden away from prying eyes with legal merchandise placed on top. The whole process of communication between these parties was spied upon by the Italian police, but they were too late in their attempt to intercept, as the illegal drugs had already been removed. The proceeds from this particular shipment were estimated at 8 million euros. Another popular interaction Dritan conducted from prison is the war between the Albanian Kingpin and Pranga, an Albanian drug trafficker. Pranga was at the time serving an 8-year sentence in the UK. Dritan allegedly called Pranga from the Quito prison, where he was incarcerated, demanding the release of his 260-kilogram cocaine cargo, reportedly stolen in England by the drug trafficker and his subordinates. Calls were sent back-to-back from Dritan to Pranga to get his bidding done, but the negotiation took an unexpected turn when Dritan told Pranga of his brother's kidnap. Jan Pranga had been taken by Dritan's men, and the Kingpin negotiated the release of his cargo for the return of Pranga's brother. Pranga swiftly found a way to return the drug shipments that remained, and the cash from the portion that was sold off. This was all to get his brother back, and although the claim of the kidnap was true, his 49-year-old gentle carpenter brother, Jan Pranga, was never returned. He is suspected to be dead, though his body was never found. Dritan claimed he had nothing to do with Jan's disappearance, as he was not involved in the process, and Jan's physical custody was handled by custodians of the Kanun, the traditional Albania laws. He made a public statement denying any involvement in the case and called on anyone with ideas of where the victim's body might have been concealed to inform the authorities. According to the Albanian authorities, this was probably one of Dritan's many farces. Italian prosecutors also accused Dritan of planning not less than 2 murders while serving time in prison. Although the tragedy for the innocent Jan Pranga was a result of his family association with his brother, the entire situation was proof of how criminal business was still conducted in prisons by the Albanian Kingpin and his connections. Final thoughts. The Albanian Capo de Tutti Capi has a reputation as an infamous drug baron. He has been arrested, detained, convicted of several criminal offenses, including murder. He still has outstanding prison sentence convictions in Albania, Italy, and Belgium. Dritan is condemned greatly by authorities far and wide, and even the citizens of Albania, as a result of the widespread chaos he has caused on the streets of Albania and Europe in general. Having attracted a wide range of international attention, he has become a target of the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, an international organization with a reputation for stimulating police cooperation and investigating criminals. Interpol describes Dritan to be at the red level of danger, an egregious criminal phase, after his engagements in bodily harm, possessions of illegal weapons, forgery, kidnapping, and vicious murders. And it doesn't sound exaggerated considering the fact that he still managed to run vital parts of the UK criminal underbelly while in prison. That's all for today's video. We hope you enjoyed the content as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Make sure to like the video and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more quality content and ring the bell to be notified the instant we drop new videos.